Hello, everyone. So this is our startup showcase. I love doing this to get an opportunity to see some fantastic emerging startups in the music tech space. A good friend of mine, Aileen, has been nice enough to host the startup sessions this time around. And so, Aileen, I'm going to bring you to the stage. Hi.
Hi, Christine. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. We really appreciate it. Please introduce yourself and then introduce our first startup.
Cool. Great. Hi, everyone. Aileen Crowley. I'm a partner at Lark 42. My business works with startup founders in the music and tech space. And so excited to host this session at Measure of Music, and have been attending now for the last few years in a few different capacities, and excited always to see what new startups are out there. So really excited to bring this session to you all. And so with 4 startups, Hat Music, Sonar Labs, Music Link, and Gateless. The format of this will be a 5-minute pitch session from each of our startups, and then followed by a couple minutes of questions. So feel free to pop your questions in the chat as we go through, and those will be highlighted by the Measure of Music team, and we'll get those answered. So to start off, we are going to go with Emanuele from Hat Music. Do you want to come up to the stage?
Hi everyone, thank you, Aileen. Super. So I'm going to present my screen, start pitching, okay? Okay, can I ask you if everything is fine? You can see that, the screen?
Looks good.
Okay, perfect. So hi everyone, we are Hat Music. We are a tech company and we work to revolutionize the music industry. So I'm Hema and I like making music. I really like to release my songs on Spotify, but there's a problem and I'm a little bit frustrated about that because my songs are not able to overcome 1K streams on Spotify. I'm a little bit sad about that, but I'm not alone. And for this reason, I'm not that frustrated, because when I realized that every minute 83 songs are released on Spotify, I said, okay, I'm not alone. So we're talking about 120k songs per day that are released on Spotify. And when I realized this, I was surprised, because in 2023, Spotify declared that there were 152 million songs that not overcome 1K streams. And so I asked to myself, but what's behind the song? And then I started realizing that to produce a song, there are some milestones, some checkpoints. There is music production, where you spend money on producers. There are visual content creation, where you spend money on designers. There is brand identity, where you spend money on social media strategies. And then the song arrives on Spotify. But after that, you are going to spend others' money on marketing, promo, booking, live. But still, songs are not overcome 1K streams on Spotify. So let's consider that. To produce one song with a low budget, you are going to spend an average of $300 with a low budget. And so, as we consider what we said before, that there were 152 million songs that they didn't reach more than 1K streams, and one song, to produce one song, you're going to spend $300. It means that in 2023, people spend 35 billion to produce this amount of song that don't overcome 1K streams. And so this is a problem. This is a problem because in 2023, 35 billion were burned. So let's consider the player in this situation. Artists, music experts, so who can sell the services, and the music industry companies. So this is the process. Artist is going to spend money on music services, and then the song is not able to overcome 1K streams. But the problem is in the channel, because artists are going to try to reach out to music services and music professionals through the wrong channel. Inappropriate channels, it means inappropriate people for your work. And artists are trying to connect people and professionals through channels that are not music focused. For this reason, we built Hat Music, the right digital music focused channel where artists can connect with music industry professionals. How it works. So an emerging artist enter, he can search the skill, he can find a music expert and book a call and start working together. On the other side, the music expert can show his skill, monetize their time, and find others people to work with. We are a tech company, and our product is AI based with an AI matching that can help the users. All the files that are transferred in app are based on blockchain. And also realize that there are a lot of data that can be useful for the music industry companies. For this reason, we realize also a software with a personalized dashboard with data access for the music industry companies. This is not just an idea. This is real. We are testing the product from September 2024 with more than 200 connections in app, with more than 18K revenues from users, and nowadays we count 169 music experts active in the app. Our business model is a B2C and B2B model, the B2C with a subscription fee and a B2B with a music data platform that costs $750 per month for companies. The market is very big in Europe. We count 4 million potential users as an artist and 2 million potential users as experts. So if we consider 6 million of potential users, we can easily reach the 5%, and with 50% of paying user, we can reach with a subscription fee of 120 per year, 18 million of ARR. We are not alone. We have some competitors, but we distinguish ourselves because we have an instant get in touch and AI system to connect people. We are a very great team, complete. We build the product with our skill and with a very low budget. And also the plus in our team is our strong team of advisors. People who work in the music industry, from the managerial to the artist part, we can count them in our team, and this is a big value for us. We are here because we are seeking for 200K in order to reach 30K MRR before the end of the year. We have already raised a half of our round. We have already raised 120K, and we want to close the round at 200K.
Great. Thanks, Emanuele. That's time. Does anyone have any questions? Measure Music team, do we have anything that we want to highlight and ask? All right, cool. Then I'll go ahead. So Emanuele, tell me what inspired you to build this business.
Yeah, so I was an artist by myself, and I experienced the problem in first person. I experienced the problem to how was it difficult to find the right people who work with. When you want to build a product, music product like a song, it is very difficult to work with the right people. So find a producer, find the right video maker, find someone who can understand what you're doing. It is very difficult, especially if you don't have a digital channel where you can compare different people. And for example, if you're not living in a big city with a lot of connection, with a lot of network, it is very difficult to make networking and meet others, people, opportunities, and this stuff. With this app, we can allow all artists to have access to the industry, people who work there. So in a certain way is a way to democratize the access for the artists to opportunity in the industry, and of course for the professionals to an opportunity to monetize their time and skills.
Yeah. And how long have you been at it now?
Sorry, how long?
How long have you been have you been running Hat Music? How long have you all been?
So we started 1 year ago. Okay. Building from the idea to the first MVP, part-time with my co-founders, but from November of last year, so from like 4 months, we are full-time on this. And so now we are building the company in a different way, and things are going very, very quick and fast.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you for being here, and thanks for pitching to everyone
Thank
today.
you. Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you. So
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Our next startup pitch comes from the Music Link team. Logan and Chris will be presenting. So I'll let you guys go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. I'm Logan Griswold. I'm the CEO over at Music Link.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Leo Palomino. I'm the COO of Music Link.
And we're here to talk to you about our product, the Medley. I think we have a slide deck. Okay, awesome. Is that working for everyone? Great. So yeah, the Medley is Music Link's flagship application, and it is the digital community for local musicians. Music Link's mission is to connect musicians with their communities, foster local events, and inspire collaboration. And to that effect, the Medley is creating the authentic local music community experience, making it easier for users to jam, create, and perform together. There's roughly about 26.1 million amateur musicians in the US, and we're trying to reach those in 19 to 55 years old to reach a sum of about 160 million per year. And the entire app stems from the problem that finding a compatible music community that fits your style, skill level, and interest is hard. Musicians waste a ton of time trying to find the right collaborators, and even tools that exist like Craigslist, for example, often lead to a guessing game where there's no easy filter. You have to scan through a ton of listings which might be outdated or not even really what you're looking for. And additionally, there's a lack of community. It's hard to engage with your local scene, especially like as a newcomer, or to know what events there are to meet new people or to present for the first time.
Our app, the Medley, focuses on solving musicians' pain points. We have kind of a four-pronged solution. The first is listings, which is our version of the digital musician wanted ad. Our second is Discover. We have a robust Discover search feature that allows musicians to search for other collaborators by instrument and genre. The third is Professional Profiles. So a marketer or a publicist will be able to promote their services on our app. And the fourth is in-person events. We have had a series of live open mics and live artist showcases to IRL in Brooklyn.
All right, so we'll just quickly go over the app real quick. When you sign in for the first time, you create a profile which contains all the regular vital statistics as well as how you categorize yourself. Are you a learner? Are you a professional? The instruments and genres that you play, a brief bio, and also what you're looking for on the app. Are you looking for a music teacher? Are you a teacher who's looking for students? Do you want to start a band, etc.? From there, Chris was already talking about our Discover search. So if I wanted to find someone who plays electric guitar, who plays, let's say, folk music, and was in 6 miles of where I am in Williamsburg, New York, I can find all the users who match that. And from there, I can look at their profile, see if I like what I see, and then send a message. This is an actual user, so I won't actually send the message, but I think you get the idea. Anyway. Our team is composed of the two of us, Chris and me here. As I mentioned, I'm the CEO. I'm based in Seattle, and my background is largely in software development. Chris is our CEO based in Brooklyn. His experience is working in the music industry. He's worked in music marketing and as a journalist. And then our third team member, Marcos Moreno, is based up in Vancouver. He's our CPO and has brought multiple products to market over his career.
We launched in Brooklyn in May 2024. Our beta app. Since launch, we have grown to over 800 users. We have organized artist showcases in Brooklyn with over 200 attendees, including sponsorships from Red Bull and Brooklyn Brewery. We have built up an audience of over 1,300 community members, and we've also released a robust web app, which you just saw, and a native Android app with an iOS version coming soon.
So we are also not alone. We already mentioned Craigslist. Vamper also sort of dominates the music collaboration space. But the Medley hopes to, really stand out in terms of having the most portability. We're on the web and we have native apps. We have the most advanced search features. We have the greatest diversity of instruments and genres. And then features like listings, like we were talking about earlier, are also truly novel. Our app will be subscription-based. Everything right now is on the free tier, but we're hoping to attract folks who are, just trying to step things up, like band leaders and collaborators, with a premium tier, as well as folks who work full-time in the music industry, producers, things like that, with a professional tier as well. So we're currently seeking about $50,000 to $100,000 in pre-seed funding, which should allow us to extend for 9 months to a year or so, expand our user base, add some of these new premium features that we're talking about, like listings and professional profiles, expand our live music event series. We're currently doing about 1 open mic a month. We'd like to try to do other types of networking events or other types of musical presentations and do them a little bit more often, as well as explore expanding to a new city. And that's it for our presentation. I think we're ready for the Q&A.
Cool. Thanks, Logan and Chris. There's a question here that asks, I guess, what level of artists are you targeting to join the database?
Sure. So we ideally want to target everybody, which I know is kind of a wide net. But our app is really looking at the value of hyper-local amateur musicians and finding a way of integrating people largely on a social level, and then offering tools for folks who want to take it a little bit above that.
Gotcha. And you have 800 users. How have you gotten those folks onto the platform?
So we've largely had our marketing at a trickle. We're pretty bootstrapped right now. So it's mostly from a pretty minimal paid advertising campaign. As Chris is mentioning, we also have our open mic series and other events like that, in which one of the sort of prereqs for signing up, because of how we share their profile for collaboration later, is having one, which are also pretty helpful in terms of attracting users. Gotcha.
And what's the big vision?
Well, the big vision, ideally this will go global. And ideally, we really add all of the platform tools that are really focused on collaboration pain points. So, in addition to listings, in addition to professional profiles, it would be great if a conductor shared his sheet music for his orchestra there, or anything like that. Ideally, we would just like to be a comprehensive music collaboration platform solution.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. Well, Logan, Chris, thank you guys for joining today and your great pitch, and congratulations on getting this far. And I'm excited to see more of you all. So
great. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Next up, we have Max from SONAR Labs. Max.
Hi, everyone. Excited to be here. Thanks, Aileen. Let me share my screen as well. First, let me know if this is working.
Yep, you're good.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. So hi everyone. Super happy to be here. It's my first measure of music, and it's been really cool so far. So I'm Max. I'm the founder of SONAR, and at SONAR we build predictive models to detect emerging talent in music. So let me give you a little bit of background first. So before SONAR, I worked at Spotify for 5 years with labels, with industry partners, and I did a bunch of different things there, but I think one model that is really related to this experience was an artist discovery predictive model that we used internally for our editorial teams. So think of the people that build playlists that you can see here. And the idea was to predict a future leap of growth among emerging and up-and-coming artists by monitoring lots of signals on and off platform. And so it ended up being super successful. We had some good success stories like the one on the right here with Avenoir, when he made it to the Times Square Billboard a couple of weeks after we picked him with the model and pushed him to the Fresh Finds team. So it was all great, but I couldn't help thinking that there was, in a way, much more that we could do with a model like that, and especially if I were to be sort of free to do whatever we want. I think there was potential. So I left to build it myself. So I mean, let's take a look first at the current artist scouting ecosystem, right? So if you take the artist point of view right now, obviously it's super competitive. Streaming itself doesn't give you meaningful revenue, so there's this real need to diversify and to touch your audience more directly. Okay, now if you're a label, if you're a distributor, if you're someone who signs artists, there's this sort of ever-growing supply of artists out there, so many tracks, so many artists coming out every day, so many data points to trends, things to monitor. We had a very interesting conversation yesterday around A&R and data. I think this really applies here. There's so much stuff out there to monitor, which means that, you know, the process is still pretty manual in a way and network-based, and meaning some opportunities are missed. And then finally, you also have all the, what I call music partners. So think brands, agencies, bookers, sync, all these entities that revolve around music talent, and they need to find scalable ways to identify and sign these rising artists that, you know, will have the right engagement level, the right target audience for what they're looking for. All right, so I think that's the goal of SONAR. It's to aim the bridge the gap, between these three entities in a way by creating an entirely new experience of artist discovery, right? One that's personalized to you, one that leverages data in the background, but feels like kind of a curated weekly list by your A&R or your buddy that knows what you're looking for. And so for that, we use AI to analyze lots of data points, learning from that model that I built before, across streaming, across social media, across live data, fan interactions, and we really try to predict and score which artists are about to have a leap of growth. So you can think of it as a super powerful scouting engine that identifies this talent early and connects them to the right labels, the right partnership opportunities. Now, if you're a label or a company with like a roster of artists, there's really two ways you can use the SONAR technology. One is to find opportunities externally, and the other is more internally. So externally, it's like this digital scouting goal. We have this platform that allows you to discover the best artists for any research that you have in mind, whether it's keywords, whether it's plain English, or even just a creative brief. Now, you will also have labels and distributors that have been leveraging our model for catalog opportunity scoring to really pinpoint the fastest growing artists in their roster. And for that, we have a proprietary score and growth drivers that you can see on the right here. And among the signals that we monitor on our artists, there's also a number of qualitative data points that we source directly from their social accounts. We look at audience demographics, where and who are their fans, how much they engage. We look at posts, comments, we analyze the fan sentiment, and that leads us to build a topic affinity and opportunities for endorsement and for partners, as you can see in the bottom here. Now, we think that this journey really starts with music, but will take us a lot further and potentially expand to other businesses and content verticals. The first bit is definitely music and scouting. At the bottom here, we want to become that established go-to platform where all the industry traffic happens when it comes to artist discovery. And so for that, we have a SaaS business model platform with different tiers based on usage. Even potentially a customized license for bigger labels. And then from there, we think that we can leverage that position and all the first-party data that we'll have accumulated to tap into these additional entities that also need to look for emerging artists regularly. And so for that, we have brand endorsement, find the right music talent for any campaign, any creative brief, if you're a brand, also talent management. So enabling agencies and middlemen to bet on the high potential artists for their own clients. Now you might be wondering, how is Sonar different?
Hi, Max. That's time. So if you just want to wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our positioning is a little bit at the intersection of analytics platform, influencer marketing campaigns, and traditional agency. And in terms of results, we've been just out for a few months only. We have a newsletter with a bunch of subscribers already. We have pilot programs ongoing with labels, brands, and agencies, and we launched our beta recently. In terms of where we are, this is our roadmap. We're looking for a CTO right now to onboard. We're fundraising in a couple of months. Happy to take some conversations there if there's interest. And from there, it's all going to be about building and testing and growing the pipeline. Thank you a lot for listening. Thanks for having me. And we're Sonar, predict the future of emerging music talent.
Thanks, Max. I think we have time for one question. I think one of them was, what's your website? So it looks like it's there, sonarlabs.io. And then we have one here. Sonar Labs uses AI to help predict high growth artists. How do you balance the data-driven insights with the human instinctual elements that often play a crucial role in A&R decisions, especially when it comes to long-term artist development?
Yeah, this is an excellent question, and one that, if I recall, was asked yesterday in the panel. Short term, what we've done is we've been using curators to also review our results, and the model runs in the background, but then we have people and humans, and especially my own network at editorial at Spotify, that reviews the artists that we also find and adds that human element to it. And then to your point, like, I think this is a tool that supports A&R in their decision making. I think this is the same idea as what Beth from Chatmetric was saying yesterday, where we want to empower people that have the clout and the knowledge and the actual means to develop artists later to do their job faster and more efficiently.
Great. Thanks, Max. We'll leave it there. Congrats on Sonar Labs, and I'm excited to have you here today, and hope to see a lot more of you soon and of the business.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. We are going to bring up our next startup founder, which is Brittany from her company, GATELESS. Hi, Brittany. Great to see you. And if you just want to unmute yourself, and then I'll let you jump in and get started.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for having me. And essentially, yes, I'm Brittany, and I'm the founder of GATELESS. And essentially, GATELESS is a catalog database to essentially make catalog growth easier. So I'm a music publisher, and just as you all, are probably aware, can you guys see this next screen where it says disclaimer? Yes? Perfect. Okay. So just in terms of disclaimer, I'm not here to try to tear down anybody in this industry, in regards to current practices, but, GATELESS was created as a way out and for creative to continue. So I figured we should start off with a quote that I found when, USC, they had a gender and inclusion in the recording studio report that they had a part of their yearly report. Their reports that they do for the music industry each year. And, irregardless of gender and race, I thought it was interesting that they assessed that across 900 popular songs from 2012 to 2020, that essentially the only thing that all the songwriters had in common was that they were only going to be on the Hot 100 at least once within the past, that 9-year span, which, from a publisher standpoint, think about how market share works and being on the Hot 100, I'm sure those songwriters were offered a pub deal, most likely they took it. And I always questioned, from data like this and, in-person data from being in the studio, just hearing word of mouth, whatever happened to all of this music. So with that being said, here's additional articles highlighting, other journalists who essentially, realized the decline and actually use, much of the data, from the various sources that were, a part of, the conference yesterday, how it paints a bigger picture as to where we are with pop music. And in terms of music publishing, so, I thought this was a unique article that was released in Billboard in 10/24/24. And essentially, they just highlighted that they believe that, the PROs highlighted that the decline, their biggest issue is the decline with radio and revenue from, TV, which essentially is gone dead, which, like I said, just in terms of, if we read articles from various companies or conglomerates, the articles can make it seem as though things are okay. But I'm sure, everybody talks about it. Pop culture talks about it. There essentially needs to be the outlet. So with that being said, Gateless was created, as a result of the concerns that I've heard from multiple songwriters and artists, executives. And essentially, it's a portal for songwriters to house, the ideas that are essentially sitting on their hard drives that can be considered amongst other, artists or executives for opportunities, which the pandemic, if it's taught us anything, it's more so that creatives can create at home. And essentially just in regards to, their immediate needs, I've realized it can't come from human middleman to essentially, make those special plays and, essentially connect those dots, which meeting, like I said, essentially being a music publisher and working with major music publishers, I've seen it from the standpoint of so many songwriters, they're essentially so talented. There could be thousands of songwriters signed to companies, but essentially there's nothing happening with their catalog. So with that being said, this is what the songwriter portal looks like. And then in terms of just even identifying, so I'll go ahead and replay this again. So they can go ahead and upload their music, they can figure out, if there's any co-writers, they can specialize the tagging process so it gets even additional exposure. But then also too, they can identify if there's been any samples and interpolations a part of it, which is pretty cool from an executive perspective, because, I know there's younger A&Rs that may not catch samples. However, at least with this, this proper information can allow songwriters to, artists and executives to gauge, any production of interest properly without, that last hurdle of trying to get a clearance, a sample cleared. So with that being said, this is what the artist and A&R view looks like. So we're going to use Jackie at Aileen, for example. This is what her inbox will look like. And in terms of, the access of the inbox part is more so, the intercollaboration is there from an approach of, even when it comes to playlists, Jackie can create playlists for the artists that she works with. However, any playlists that have been shared with, the artists, she'll also have access to. But then also, any playlist that the artist creates on the platform, she'll also be in the where. Just so, we have these certain metrics in place, just so everybody is working in unison and it's not counterintuitive as to, let's say if Jackie's sending ideas that, let's say artists on her roster have already considered. So moving forward, I know I have limited time, but also too, if you guys want to see a further demo, please definitely hit me at the end of this. But just in regards to just the whole approach with shared playlists, just the process now of attempting to find new ideas. It could come through social media, it could come through the standpoint. However, with this, just from a standpoint of allowing songwriters to be able to continue to grow their relationships with artists, we have a more organized approach in which, in the event that there's already been files sent on behalf of the songwriter, from the songwriter to the artist, then those files will appear as updated. So let me just go ahead and rewind that back.
Yeah, and Brittany, we're at time, so if you just
right, that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, guys. I was going to say, I definitely try to condense this because it's more so 11-minute demo, but, we really have it in place to be a resource because a lot of people think the industry is dead, and it's not dead. It's just more so the creative disconnect within publishing is what contributes to the bigger picture of essentially, if you question what happened to music or why, if they're, in terms of live music coming back, everybody not being able to go on tour as they expected. Or can you hear me?
Brittany, you're breaking up a little bit for me, but I'm going to go ahead and ask a question here that William in the audience had, if you can hear me okay. Yeah?
Yes, sorry about that.
what use cases that you didn't expect Gateless has been used? Essentially, what are the use cases that Gateless has been used effectively for?
What use cases that you then? Well, essentially, I would say in terms of for Gateless, because I was kind of shocked that nobody thought of doing this earlier on, but then you kind of realize that a lot of people within the creative community essentially fear technology, but especially when it comes to this, you can't fear it. And especially when it comes to the publishing community, I've just seen it from so many different prerogatives of where everything is essentially getting stuck in the pipeline. And it's more so even with, the concept of Gateless, it's just been more so taking the experiences of, various people within publishing and music and essentially solving their problem. Because like I said, just realizing it's not going to come from middlemen, it's more so embracing technology. So.
Gotcha. Brittany, I think we're at time, but thank you so much for sharing Gateless with us and being part of the startup pitches today. So appreciate it. And congratulations on getting Gateless this far. It's exciting. So thanks for sharing.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys. And like I said, feel free to hit me. I'll be around. I'll be in the chat. So definitely feel free to reach out for a further demo. Okay?
Great. Thanks so much, Brittany.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you, Aileen, for
Really
hosting our showcases. I'm always really impressed with everybody. Thank you to our startups that pitched. You'll get some time with me if you would like it. So I'll drop you a note afterwards to tell you about how you get that. And we're done for the session. So thank you again to Aileen. Thank you for all the questions in the chat. We really appreciate it. And if you guys want to get real nerdy with us, our next session is very technical about how to use data for analytics. So on that note, I agree, right? I'll see you guys over there. Or just a reminder, Aileen, you're free to go. So I'll let you go. And just a reminder, if you don't want to check out the next session, the networking expo is still happening. So you should be able to see that in your schedule to hop on over there. Otherwise, hang out on the main stage and head over to the next session. So we'll see you over there.